All right, welcome back to the STR podcast, otherwise known as the Start the Rebuild podcast. I'm your co-host, Tim Fournier, alongside Ian Mills, and guest, Will Anderson. Will the Thrill.
The number one STR fan.
The number one STR fan. We are so thankful for our massive fan base that we have brought the number one fan. He won the sweepstakes.
Yeah.
He won the Danimals
the Crush Cups.
Crush Cups STR sweepstakes.
I was going to have Dylan Sprouse here, but...
Yeah.
Not just us.
But no.
Cole Sprouse is in the back.
Yeah, we got rid of him.
Basically, if you, this is what you can aspire to. If you comment on our episodes, this is where you can end up someday.
I think you get automatically, enter the sweepstakes when you comment,
So you had a 100% chance.
Yeah. All you gotta do is comment like twice, maybe. But it is episode, technically, it's the 33rd posted episode in a row. Well, not in a row, but the 33rd episode. But we're calling it episode 32 because we forgot how to count and accidentally said last episode was episode 33.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that I wanted to make this officially 32 is that I'm wearing my Jimmer Freddette jersey, which goes, he's the GOAT, first of all. Second of all, I'm in Ian's phone as Timmer Freddette.
Yes.
A long-standing joke, and I couldn't miss this opportunity. Also, Jeremy Hill, Cedric Benson episode.
Rudy Johnson.
There we go. I think Eric Weddle was 32.
Yeah.
Was he 32 or 33?
I think he was 33.
That's Will Hill.
Oh, it's Teron Neal.
We're getting at ourselves. No more 33. So we're completely unprepared about anything ever. So does anyone have anything they want to bring up before we lock this in?
New Year's,
you know.
Yes.
New Year's.
Oh, serious?
No!
He didn't comment
on the podcast.
You have to stay back there.
Say hi. Say hi.
You didn't comment, so you can't be on the pod. I won the
You can't show your
Big
face.
reveal.
You can't show your face.
Big reveal.
Would you like to sit down and join the pod?
Sure.
Yeah.
You may.
Well, you're not in the frame. So you're not in the frame.
Let me do one of these. You tell me when I'm good, Tim.
Okay.
This camera's not moving.
Wait. Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, look at us.
Perfect.
Just a little
Frame up shot.
That's Vontez.
Very dirty player.
That's Vontez.
In your mind.
All right.
So
New Year's resolutions, is that what we want to call it?
Yeah,
It's like goals of 2025. Does anyone have anything jumping out? Because I have a couple ideas.
Let's start with you.
First things I want to
introduce Jim. I feel
like we
we just sat down.
No, did you know we had podcasts?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know we've been posting every week?
That I did not.
Do you know the name of it?
Oh, I know. There's
This is a
like
big
an
test.
S.
Yeah, it's good one.
It's like SGR.
Start going rebuild.
You got 2/3.
I got 2/3. All right.
STR.
STR.
Ah.
Rebuild.
And we had 100 views last episode. So
Yeah.
So
Isn't that crazy?
Hey, that's
It's like
better than I would have if I had a podcast. I guarantee I'd have like 2.
Hey,
we did for a long time.
we're grinding. This is actually like our 18th week in a row or something.
Yeah.
We've been grinding. So first New Year's thing is to keep the streak alive.
Oh yeah, for
52
sure.
more.
Yeah.
This year.
Episode 85.
Yeah, that's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
The Ocho Cinco podcast.
Yes.
Well, I
There
guess.
you go, Chosenko fan.
All right. Well, this is going great.
This is so good.
Exactly as planned.
My first resolution. Or we can kind of go in order if
Sure.
you want. I want to read more.
Oh.
I think that is a lost art in this day, and I feel like it partially goes towards like attention spans. You literally were just talking about how your phone's on grayscale,
Yeah.
and not enough people can just like sit down and read a book, and I want to like make time to like read like 10 pages of a book in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was in a good stretch for a while, and then I fell off, and now I'm getting back.
I agree. I think people just don't read anymore. I haven't read a book in forever, dude.
When was the last time everyone here read a book? Not for school.
I was in college, but it was sometime in college.
This fall, I think Monday. I read one.
I
I try to read like
We're
every
trying to
next
do a great
day.
job.
we're just so we're like, how do you read again if you're
Like how you pick out a book, or are we talking about
what's the alphabet?
I think it's
two letters together.
I think it's Q, P, R, Z,
M and L O.
Oh yes, there we go.
M&LP. What were the books you guys read?
I read.
And how did it impact your life?
The Boys from Biloxi by John Grisham.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big John Grisham fan.
Jermaine Gresham?
He was a lawyer.
Well, Jermaine Gresham is a great tight end.
Yes.
Great tight end.
50 episodes.
But no, The Boys from Biloxi was it's a really good book about two guys who grew up together as friends, but they're lived in different parts of the city. One's dad became a mob boss, the other became the district attorney, and so families kind of
conflict.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflict there, and it's down in New Orleans. So pretty good book. I really enjoyed that one.
Very interesting, actually.
And then there's another one which actually became a movie, but this was a little while longer ago.
Pelican?
No. Tom Cruise is the actor in the movie.
The Firm.
The Firm. The Firm is a really good book. If anyone wants a good book to read, The Firm is phenomenal. And then they came out with a sequel to that, which was also good, but not as good as the.
So you like to read fiction books?
Yes, big fan of fiction books.
Big lawyer fiction books too.
Yes, well, that does.
I wonder why that is.
That does track. That does track being in law school and all. So Yeah, but those are good books. There's a lot of mystery there. There's a lot of character development that goes into those books. If you're a fan of that.
There we go. Well, what was the last book you read?
I've been doing a reread of books from high school.
Really?
So I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo again.
Greatest book too.
Personally, it's my favorite book. I think this might be the third time I've read.
Shout out Mr. Freddette if he's listening to the podcast.
Count of Monte Cristo. No.
Yeah, but in case he is. Great book.
Of course he is. But been reading that. Before that, I read The Lords of Discipline.
Wow.
Do you guys remember that?
Is that the
fun fact? That book is actually now banned at McQuaid. The parents got that removed from the reading list.
Was that
that was
kid book?
No. So I think we read it in freshman year. Gordon, maybe.
It sounds so.
The guy at the military college.
Yeah, it was military
basketball
college
player there.
Right.
And, a lot of stuff happened. I don't want to ruin the book for anyone.
No, it was a summer reading.
Yes.
Was it summer?
Yeah. It was summer reading, but it is since a very hot button issue.
Really?
The fact that that is one of many books, just because the message it sends, and a lot of parents were against the storyline, even though I think it was a great kind of you learn a lot in that book.
I kind of forget what would they be like.
There was a very questionable actions, I would say.
So when I was rereading it, I was kind of surprised that I was reading it in freshman year. There's some, it's kind of like definitely an R-rated book.
I would say maybe
very old school practices that would be
maybe a little more TVMA type. Rated R. I'd say TVMA.
A lot of the themes of the books is racially charged.
A lot of that
happens.
Sexual component to it as well.
Military culture, just kind of mold men into
a lot of don't ask, don't tell policies going on. A lot of don't ask, don't tell policies.
I don't see why it'd be banned. I think that's a bit much.
I think some parents came together from, not sure if this is the truth of this, but it got to the point where it's some parents are I'm not sure our son should be reading, and they kind of came together and Fahrenheit 35 or 53 or whatever. 451, where you start banning books and start burning books. Burning books. That's basically what they did to the Lords of Discipline, actually burning.
I mean, I don't really fully remember the book in terms of its actual contents, and maybe they have full reason to be upset that kids were reading it. But I do think that discipline and structure is something we're losing. So it's a little disappointing to me to hear something like that be banned.
Well,
but I don't remember how serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the wrongdoing.
It's pretty serious.
I'll say this: I think I think it kind of goes to the shelter of society. So I think it's a lot of sheltering, and getting rid of books like that shelters kids more instead of kind of exposing them, and then it kind of just speaks to the shift in society versus when we were in school and what we were reading, and kind of being more the old school
Yeah.
style.
I even look back at my own childhood and sometimes wish I had more like, not that I was like, I feel like more, I don't know if discipline is the right word. Like I wish I was more disciplined as a child, as in terms of like myself. But I feel like we're like getting further and further away from it, and it's like, I don't know. Everyone's lives are getting like,
Well, I think it's easier. Like it's almost like now that we're so used to just like going on your phone, right? It's so easy to just like give a kid an iPad and be like, all right, I don't want to deal with you right now at dinner. I'm enjoying my dinner. Here's an iPad.
Yep.
Shut up. And I think like that, those sort of practices, basically like the fool safe easy button, which is almost certainly going to like damage a kid's attention span and also discipline later when basically all they have to do is like cry and they get an iPad, right? Like that's sort of like, it's almost like they know how to do it. So I don't think necessarily it's like as a society we might be losing it. I think it's just like we're basically getting to a point where we're so reliant on like technology. Things are just sort of like easier in some ways, and you just sort of don't have to work for things as hard, in some ways.
Also, a lot more leisure time, so you can
For
kind
sure.
of frolic a bit more.
I'll say this as kind of a little counterpoint to that, play devil's advocate a little bit. I think there is like a lot to say about like spending too much time on the iPad and being it given too freely, but I think there also is an added benefit just because that is how society is nowadays, that by giving it to them, it's like you don't want to fall out of societal trends as well. And I feel like that like so much is happening with technology. You do need to be well versed. You do need to be able to maneuver like I know like my cousins who are younger than me can run circles around me when it comes to technology. And it's not like for the worst. Yes, are there things that are bad? Yes, but there's also, given how effective as society is today, it is important from a young age that they do
understand
become well versed. It's very different than how we learned to use it, but it's still, but there is also that old school like maybe don't default to it, but like for myself, like I'm a big board games person. I think knowing board games were like my little cousins don't play the type of board games I used to play at their age. And it's like, well, because nobody really makes them. Nobody's like, hey, put away the devices. Let's sit here and let's play a family game.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I just think like my fear more is with like little kids, like just on their iPad. Like, yes, being well versed, like having having a phone at a younger age. Like I didn't have a phone until we were like 8th grade, right? Like kids now have phones a lot earlier. And so it's like, I think that's like understandable just because we're in a well-connected society and that stuff makes sense. My more concern is like giving a 4-year-old an iPad because it's like, all right, they're going to shut up if they watch this TikTok or not Bluey. What's the one? Coco Melon. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Just like, all right, throw Coco Melon in those. Like that's more my concern is like destroying kids' attention spans and destroying kids' like ability to like if you're watching something as a kid at that age, like ideally it would have some type of educational purpose, which in a lot of ways there are obviously still.
Well, so I know we're talking about that, but in your childhood growing up, were you watching educational stuff like that, or were you watching SpongeBob?
Well, SpongeBob, like as a 4-year-old, I guess that's fair, but like
the Wiggles.
But I'm not. But I wasn't watching SpongeBob or the Wiggles like during dinner. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, all right, like you're here at dinner, sit and chill, like relax.
I do think it's very important to learn how to be bored at some point too.
Yeah.
And so I'll say this to kind of your point of like just like watching things mindlessly and like going to Timmy's question earlier about like what's a New Year's resolution for you. Like for me, mine is go to bed earlier on a more consistent basis by like 10 o'clock. Because there's a lot of times by 10 o'clock at night, I'm mentally drained. And instead of going to bed immediately, next thing I know, it's an hour or two later, it's midnight, and I've either been scrolling on TikTok for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've been watching 2 more episodes of a show that I don't need to. And like, yes, I like to wind down, but like I could have gone to bed, but then that's dragged on. And there's no value where I'm losing that 2 hours of sleep where maybe I do that and I get up in the morning to go work out or something. I'm not as tired then, and I can be more productive earlier in the day. And because like for me, I like being up early. I like being productive in the morning. But the longer I stay up, the less productive I will be. So all of a sudden, my productiveness is getting kind of going down. So it's like getting rid of those devices. Or instead, like let's say I do stay up from that 10 to 11 o'clock. Maybe I'm reading a book during that 10 to 11 o'clock time span. So it's like I'm making more use. So it's not even just the kids in this day and age too. It's myself. I
For
see
sure,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
improve
for
on
sure.
that as well.
I find it so hard with this is kind of just more on the sleep stuff. So hard. I feel like I'm always in such a good rhythm, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sleep schedule, like going to bed really early, getting up really early, and then you like do something Friday and or Saturday night, and then it's just like destroyed, which is like very tough. And I don't really know the answer to that. I wish people would just like go out on a Friday at like 7,
Yeah,
and then just like everyone's like back home at like
midnight. Yeah, dude, I work till midnight, so like my schedule, like my sleep schedule is like the worst. Like, and it's like there are certain days where I'll work at like 9 a.m. So it's
Yeah.
like, like get home at midnight. You get home at midnight, and then it's like you're wide awake because I was drinking coffee up until 10 o'clock, and then it's like, all right, hang out for 2 hours, and it's like, all right, be up at for 7 hours. So kind of going off Jim's points, like, yeah, I kind of probably could do a better job just like winding down. Because there's certain nights I'm just like, I get home and like, I'm like, oh, I'm really tired. I should go to bed right now. But I like force myself to stay up because I didn't do anything all day except work. And it's like I don't want to just have a day where I just work. That makes sense, but
No, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense. You kind of get caught because you're like, I want that time too to just be
Right.
a person outside of my job. And
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's I think one thing I kind of remind myself is like I look at like my family and I kind of look at like where my parents are at in its life, and it's like now that I'm starting to see like they have a lot more time,
yeah,
a lot more freedom to do something. It's like, well, I didn't see them in their early 20s, mid 20s when they were working to get to where they are now, and it's definitely a different, like we're going through that stage where it's you do a lot more work now to get to that point later on where you have the freedom to maybe spend that 3-4 hours watching mindless television. It's like, well, you've already gotten to the point where you've been productive, you've made your way in life, and now it's either some people choose to keep working, some people are like, you know what, I'm happy, and they've earned that right to just be like, I just want to do nothing and then just enjoy life. Where it's like
we're kind of in the prime time.
we're in the prime time of like, well, you're up till midnight working every day. Well, it's like, well, because you're making your mark on the world.
Right.
You've jumped significant ladders in terms of where you started at school and now like where you're working for the news and stuff. It's like you've grinded those hours, you've done that work, and it's showing the benefits now, and there's more to come from it. But you don't get that way by just sitting there watching mindless television for a couple hours. It's because you're hitting the grindstone, you're going and you're doing those things.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate that, and I do think there's like something to be said about like you early in your career. I guess you're like early in your career, you are like putting an insane amount of hours, and just like there's that transitional period of when you first start and you're doing that, and you're kind of, I wouldn't say like happy to do it, but like you're doing it almost as second nature.
Yeah.
Like this is all I know. And then you get to a point where a week like this past week, I worked this week, but I know a lot of people who didn't, and it's like you get a feeling or a week of like relaxation. Where you're like, oh man, like this is what life could be. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you almost like realize like how bad you've been working. You know, and you're just like, like.
Yeah, my brother's he's a lawyer, and he was like, I should have been a teacher because my parents have 2 weeks off right now. And he's like, I have to go to work in every day that's not Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I always call it the real world. It's like for me right now, and Timmy and you too, like we're home from down in the Carolinas. We're only home for a couple of weeks. Like this hasn't been the real world. We were talking the other day, and I'm like, I'm home for a week. Like I want to have a garbage plate. I want to go to the Village Bakery. Like I want to eat healthy, but I'm also like, this is a week off from reality, and like it's like I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Like I'm here for a reason to get away from everything. But like I know like right when I get back down Sunday, I'm going back to working at the brewery. It's like before school starts up again. It's like you're getting back to it. You're getting back to the grindstone, and it's
I'm kind of itching to get back. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. Get that routine, get that structure back, and get that going. And it's like it's different for you and I being up here, and even you because you're home from Cincinnati right now. It's like we have that time off. We have that time off, and so we don't have anything to do. But the minute we get back, like today, I found myself looking at my class schedule. I'm ordering books. I'm starting to transition back into that time. I'm like, all right, I've hit that wall where I'm like, I need to find a purpose again.
And I wonder what time that when that developed in us, because there was definitely a time in my life where I was like 2 weeks off. I hate to go back. I'm just gonna play Madden for the next 400 hours.
I think like at a certain age when you have an ounce or feel like an ounce of like appreciation for work that you put in yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a really good feeling. Like once you like that rewarding feeling hits, it's like kind of want to keep doing that, you know, like I kind of want to keep earning that. And when you're a kid, like it happens and it's like, okay, that's cool. That suffices for the next however long. But like now it's like, that's all you want, right? That's not all you want, but like it's like something that kind of can constantly.
Why do you think
think
school doesn't really provide that for most people?
I mean, you're not necessarily doing something you're passionate about or something that you love, and it's also not really an individual feat. Like everybody around you is doing it, right? And it's like it's sort of like you have to do it. Right now, you don't have to be doing. I mean, you have to exist. You have to have a job, but like you don't have to be doing exactly what you are doing, and because this is what you chose, ideally what you chose. Like I think there's some added benefit to that, and there's obviously some individuality of it as well.
Sure.
See, I think it comes from the point of, and I see this with working and stuff, is it's seeing the like that paycheck hit your bank account or something. It's like you see that, you get that immediate gratification and result from having working, and you're like, all right, I want to get back to that. Like I know what I'm doing is making an impact. It's like helping me in my everyday life. Where with school,
you don't really see the benefits of it.
Exactly. Like for law school, I don't see it immediately because I'll go an entire semester without having one single exam. It's just showing up every day, reading, going to class, taking notes. Reading, going to class, taking notes. It is like that for an entire semester without one single assessment.
That's crazy.
And it's like, so you get lost in it. You're like, what's the point? Like, why am I doing this? Where am I? Then you get burnt out. You're like, I'm done. Then all of a sudden you get to the exams. Well, shit, I got 3 weeks. Like, I gotta remember everything. I gotta go back to my notes and start all doing it again. But then it's like, all right, then I'm going back the next semester. I'm doing the same exact thing. You're just repeating the cycle until finally 3 years later down the road, that's when you graduate. When you go to college, you go to undergrad. 4 years down the road, you graduate. High school, we had McQuaid for 7 years. Like you're there forever. There's no immediate result coming from it until then you look back and like, okay, that was all worth it. Where I feel like when you're in the workplace and like you're in like the workforce, you're seeing that result immediately every 1 or 2 weeks or whenever you get paid, and you see that paycheck hit and you're like, all right, this is why I'm doing it. Like I'm providing, I'm building up a foundation for myself, but you don't see that in the immediate with schooling.
I also think building off that when you're working hard and like going above and beyond at work, other people notice and you start to like kind of climb up the ranks, like, you get a promotion or something. And
in school,
you're just like,
I don't really know what the solution is.
I got an A on the test. Okay.
There's no one coming to say. It's, I don't know if there's a solution to that. I'm not the guy to be, asking for a solution, but I don't know if that's a flaw in the system or if there's just not a good way to go about it.
I just think it's just hard to motivate. Like when you're a kid, it's just like hard to motivate. I mean, like not that it's hard to motivate kids, but it's like to try to explain them why it's important to learn is not always the easiest thing in the world. It's like it's almost like benefits you don't see, but that's sort of what you're saying. Like benefits you do, you don't see it happening, but it's like super evident. And then now that we're our age, it's like, oh, I'm glad I paid attention in school. I'm glad I learned that.
Exactly.
And it's like impossible. Like everyone, like when we were kids, the amount of time someone told that to us, like, oh, this is gonna mean something in the end. This is all leading to something, and you're just like, all right, shut up.
You're like, how is this gonna add any benefit to my life? Like this is irrelevant.
And now you look at it now, it's like, oh yeah, okay, it did.
Like that's actually important. Like, oh, knowing how to like write cursive or something. It's like, how many people do that? It's like why I can write in print. Why do I need to learn 2 ways to write?
Right.
Oh well, being able to write in cursive later on might actually be able to help you with a signature. It can help you with all these different things that you didn't expect, and I think that's where the point. It's not a flaw in the system. It's just that's just the way human nature is, and I don't think it's a negative of human nature. I just think it's the cycle that everybody goes through, and you need to experience it for yourself in order to learn. Because there's so many times your parents tell you, "Oh, don't do that," or "Don't like do this, not that." But it's also like you learn by failing and learn by making mistakes. And the best I'm like the best way like a kid learns not to do something is by messing up. And
Yo, Frank!
What's up, Frank?
The podcast.
Podcast? Am I live?
You're live.
What's up, best
Let's
TR
go. This
gang?
is Frank. Frank, what is your New Year's resolution?
Ooh.
Here, let me zoom out even more.
We need another camera. You guys gotta get a
The
studio.
pod is
We
growing right
We have
now.
3 more people coming in.
New Year's resolution.
On the
is-
spot.
Yeah.
Did
Probably
Frank also win the
think
sweepstakes?
to just
No.
live healthier lifestyle in terms of just like being more physically fit.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, trying to
Like consider getting salmon and rice.
salmon and rice, man. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of
So
salmon, dude.
just more consistency in my life in terms of physical fitness. So
Let's
yeah.
go. Name
See
the
that.
game, consistency for 2025.
Let's go.
So, anyone else got anything?
Our New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
or-
we'll go New Year's resolutions.
I guess building off Frank's. I want to do more cooking. Like I cook, but it's all like eggs or
Yep.
ground turkey,
Ground
or
beef,
pasta,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
That's
Maybe some more.
specialties.
Yeah, so maybe some more intricate dishes. Like one of my buddies, he's a few years older than me, but he's like, if you invite a girl over to cook for her, what are you cooking? And I'm
Yeah.
like, so something like that would be very nice.
I got nothing on that either.
I've been
Pasta out of
cooking
a package.
Yeah, exactly,
since
yeah.
since moving back to Rochester. I've been like cooking for my family like a couple times a week, and it's like
Yeah.
it's actually like fun. Like once you like
Yeah.
get it down a little
Yeah.
bit, trying new recipes, it can be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you a few podcasts ago, you were talking about soup. And that hit me hard
love
because
soup, dude.
I was in a soup mode too. I
Yeah,
was like, man, I'm gonna make some great chicken noodle soup. And I did make like a big pot at
Nice.
the beginning of the week, and then you said it, and I was like, oh, it was my favorite
What's the
podcast.
reason for the boat? Like, what's the reason for wanting to cook fancier stuff?
Yeah, I think it's part of it. It's like, once you start cooking, it's a little bit rewarding. Like,
Yeah.
growing up, you're just like, all right, it's
fancier.
But now it's like, all right, I got a little bit of time. I can make a better
I
dish.
definitely look forward to making
Yeah.
it. If I have something that
Yeah.
I know is sitting in my fridge,
Yeah,
and then I
exactly.
know like I can't wait to like make.
Oh yeah, it almost like once you get good at it, it like obviously it's more gratifying, but it also can like just taste a lot better than whatever frozen food you were gonna eat otherwise, or whatever takeout you were gonna eat.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, this is way better and also probably cheaper.
Yeah.
Way better, all things considered. But personal goal, what am I saying? 2025 resolution for me.
Before you say it,
I'll go
can I
ahead.
ask a question to the room that was also partially answered?
Sure.
What would actually be the meal if you're having a girl over and they say, "Can you cook for me?" What would everyone actually make? I was thinking about it. I'd probably make. It would be the simplest thing of all time, but I'd probably make like grill a steak and make like air fried potatoes, and then like realistically probably like get like some type of vegetable
Yeah.
and like
Like the
make it
macros
seem
on this
like I
meal are
actually,
so
like,
good.
cooked it, where I feel like that would look like I semi-cooked something, but it
Yeah.
was still the most basic thing of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't know how to cook anything else.
It's
But
not hard. It's not hard to prepare something like steak and rice bowl. Is
You're
just
right.
you can get creative with the sauce or the.
yeah, I'm not making like a casserole or something.
Nah, that'd be a weird thing. That'd be weird anyways. I feel like.
So Tim, so is this like a first time having a girl over, or is this like you've been dating for a while?
You're
or-
trying to impress them.
Well, there goes my breakfast for dinner idea. Because I could do that easy.
I would
okay.
think that would be great. But like, let's say you're trying to impress.
I could do like a nice burger or something. I can cook on a grill. He's like not bad. Or do some like pasta, like a pasta with a sauce and like some sort of like meatball or like sausage or something.
I made one thing the other day. This is not fancy at all, but I in a cast iron I made chicken thighs and I toasted buns, and then I got pickles and made like essentially healthy chicken sandwiches. That's like kind of like
Chicken
interesting.
thighs are so good. I would probably cook chicken thighs, honestly.
I feel like that's kind of like more fancy than your average.
Yeah,
like,
it's also just
thing thrown together.
also like I love chicken breast, but like I would never serve chicken breast to like a meat. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
like I love chicken breast, but it's
Chicken
like,
thigh way.
chicken thigh tastes way better. If
It's easier to cook too.
yeah, that's very true.
What are you cooking
Um,
for Laurel?
I've cooked for Laurel quite a bit, and she's gotten sick once or twice from it, which it's a bit of an L on my part. But no,
Not good for the resume, right?
not good for the resume. We
That
cooked,
clam
dude.
chowder?
We cooked. I cooked shrimp scampi for her once.
Oh,
That
wow.
was really good. That was actually really good.
I could never dream.
No, it's not. I mean, she was there. She helped a little bit, If she watches, she can comment and be like, "Actually, I made it
Moral
myself."
comment. A rating out of 10.
Lord,
Shrimp scampi was real good. What else is there? But yeah, chicken thighs I make a lot, and then steak. I've been cooking a lot of steak.
I feel like steak's the easiest route to go to be like semi almost fancy, but also very easy.
How do you
supposed
guys
to go, Frank?
Frank answered no.
What do you say, Frank?
Yeah,
What would you
steak and rice bowl
Yeah.
with like avocado and like spicy mayo.
Mmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Like
I
a- almost like a-
salmon the other day. How do you cook your salmon?
Depends. I do like, I'll do you can either do it in the oven or I'll just like convenience wise, just for like protein, I'll just break it up in a pan and fry it, make fried rice and anything protein plus fried rice is just like a hack.
Yeah,
In
pretty
my
much.
house, in my house at least.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I agree. Will, did you answer?
No, well, I mean, this is the point I'm trying
Yeah,
to
he
get
should-
to. Where
we're
I-
giving-
I know, this
yeah.
is sparked a great conversation.
We're giving him advice almost.
Yeah,
If you like hot scrub all time said, make me dinner tomorrow.
I can make you some great mac and cheese.
Oh.
I don't know. Normally, I'm going with something like chicken, and I do roasted sweet potatoes, which have been pretty killer. So maybe something like that.
Yeah. Are you big into Skyline chili?
My mom actually made Cincinnati chili last night. Which
I
was
love
What
great,
makes it
but-
Cincinnati, Jared?
Spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti
Oh,
and
I didn't know
yeah, so it's on
So
top of
good.
that, or you put it on like a coney or something.
So good.
Yeah,
So
I like Skyline.
comfort
Yeah.
food.
Good. Do I need to try it if I'm ever in the city of Cincinnati?
It's not like a need to try. Like half the people you meet love Skyline, and half of them are like, "This is the worst thing I've ever eaten." So it's
hit or miss.
yeah, hit or miss.
What was
I would
your
like to try it.
What was your initial reaction?
I
for
like
trying it. You like it?
It's
Yeah.
basically just like meat
Well,
sauce.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be from Cincinnati, so you basically have to like it.
Sure, yeah.
You really want it.
yeah.
Cosplay as
I really hate it. God.
All right, so I interrupted you by error.
Oh, my 2025. Well, this conversation sparked a lot of things. So I'm like, oh, maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to do that. I've been trying to be better at being intentional with my days off, which I guess isn't really a resolution at all. That's just
I
a
like
fancy
it.
word.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
So what I've like, using my phone less on my days off, waking up early on my days off to make sure I'm actually doing something, like doing stuff that I'm gonna enjoy, obviously, because it's your day off, but also like bring some type of
value.
value to my day,
Yeah.
right? Whatever that might be. And something I've talked about on the pod quite a bit is how I'm working on like individual projects,
Yep.
which I want to kind of go treat my days off as if like that's like not the only thing I'm going to do, obviously, because I don't want to burn myself out, but really cutting out time in my day to get better at that, because I'll work on my personal projects pretty often, but like I feel like I can be a lot better at it. There's certain days where I'm just like, it's my day off. I'm just gonna treat it like a day off and just go watch a movie or whatever. But for me, it's like I want to be able to at a certain point become self-sufficient in the way I kind of treat this career, because like obviously I love my job and it's great, but it's like you want to just sort of continue developing skills outside of work, almost to kind of raise the bar on yourself a little bit and create projects where people are going to follow you for my stuff at work, but also for stuff I like, stuff I care about that I can't necessarily work on at work, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Binghamton, I had the 2 documentaries that came out, and those are my 2 favorite things I ever worked on. And so it's like, well, those are my 2 favorite things I ever worked on. Like, shouldn't I be trying to do that more often? And that's sort of where I land on it.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
There we go. So we got being intentional with your days off, learning to cook more, consistency with health in the gym, reading more. Did you say one?
Going to bed earlier.
Going to bed early.
Nice.
That was the one.
Look at us go,
To
guys.
stop wasting time.
Don't go.
So those are
I want to increase
the-
my Fortnite rank.
So those are the New Year's resolutions, but the way Ian and I always close out is we say our goal for the next week.
This guy.
Because at the end of the day, in order to reach these goals, you kind of have to go day by day, week by week.
Yeah.
But so my goal for the immediate week, I'll start off, is I have to do this Excel certification course that I want to get done, so I can put that on my resume. And in my job search, there's 3 people that I specifically have to email on Monday to reach back out. So those are the 3 things that I gotta get done before the next pod on next Thursday.
Nice. My date. What am I saying? My goal for this week, sort of different from what I just said about the being intentional, because that's obviously gonna take
For a
to do.
year-long process, yeah.
But for this, I want, and I've been like ever since like the last week or so, I've been trying to be very intentional about using my phone less. I want to have my whatever that screen time. That's it. I want that to be below 3 hours a day from this point until
Grayscale.
Thursday. Grayscale, baby. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of a lofty goal,
Grayscale.
but we'll see.
Really good.
I mean, it's a goal. It's something got to work
Yeah,
for.
you know, we'll see.
Well,
I got 2 goals.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, the first isn't really a goal, but I got to cheer the Bengals into the playoffs.
Sure.
Got to will that into existence.
So if they don't make the playoffs, then you failed your goal.
Yep.
It's
over with.
announcement on the pod: if Carson Wentz does not send the Bengals to the playoffs, I will admit to Mike that Jared Goff.
Oh my god! Only video evidence.
Yeah. So that's on record. But the real goal is I've been working on this
pod next week.
Yeah. I've been working on this side project at work that can really help my team. And my normal light workloads can be light next week. So I'm hoping I can put a lot of time to that before I meet with my manager on Thursday and get that worked out.
Let's go.
Nice.
Hoping to get that.
Let's go.
That's what I like to hear.
James?
I've got, with school starting back up, I want to get started on my schoolwork early next week so I can start getting a foundation of not leaving it towards the last minute. I think that's my goal for like someone to have pretty much a full week. I'm going to be working at the brewery a little bit, but in my time that I'm not there, instead of just sitting playing video games or something, actually trying to be productive and get my new computer set up that I have, because I'll be working remote and stuff. So kind of just do things that are productive towards my semester to kind of be prepared for it.
How many monitors?
I'm gonna have 1 monitor than my laptop, so like a dual screen between laptops. So 2 screens. But
So you got a beginner set.
yeah, beginner set at home. I only have 1 job going right now, nothing crazy, but just trying to get on that path.
Oh, Frank?
So I think similar to Tim's, I have 2 or 3 individuals, personnel from prospective job
Conversations you got to start.
conversations that I need to start, get the
Yeah,
ball
that's what I
rolling
meant.
with certain individuals in my network that could be beneficial towards me landing a potential job in the next month, 2 months, who knows. So yeah, because I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands because I'm actually having dental surgery again on
Oh, yeah.
Tuesdays. So,
It's on Tuesday?
yeah, so like a reoccurring thing in the over the past few months, but got to do it. So gonna be out of commission for at least a few days, so it doesn't give me any excuse not to get working on those things.
Heck yeah. Backstory, Frank hit his tooth on the rim while dunking.
It wasn't the rim.
On the backboard. And
Well, yeah, this was what had to have been 8 years ago.
in like 8th grade.
Yeah, so Tim was there.
I was there.
2 other friends from high school were there.
I was
Traumatic experience, knocking my
No, he was
braces off.
dunking in 8th grade. Note that.
The hoop was adjustable. I'm just gonna say that.
We were
It's 11 feet.
He actually jacked it up a little bit.
I actually have a 40-inch.
For prospective companies who want to hire Frank, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It was an adjustable height. So
Sleeper athleticism.
It only gets higher. It was actually 12.
So
I
yeah,
was there to witness your tooth breaking on the backboard, and I was there to witness the backboard shattering when our friend Gabe dunked on it and tore the hoop out.
yeah.
Wait, what? That happened?
Yeah,
Never
after
heard
like
that.
prom or something.
After Christmas party at my neighbor's house.
Oh yes.
Gabe dunked on the hoop, and then I just vividly remember him coming down, walking away, and then seeing the hoop just go, and then hits the rim, like hits first down on the driveway, and the entire backboard shatters. Flat.
And
everywhere.
Gabe obviously is the nicest. It wouldn't hurt a fly.
No, he was
Yeah, you felt so
innocent.
bad. You know, look, this metal post like snapped. It didn't even
It
come out of
just
the ground.
Yeah, it just.
It was frozen into the ground and just snapped. And
That's so funny.
And then Gabe was never heard from again.
Yeah, Gabe's done.
G2.
All right, so leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe,
Maybe you'll be
hit
here.
the bell. If you do all those things, you might be in one of these seats one day, but probably not. You know what you're doing. All right, good job, everybody. Episode 34 coming soon. See ya. Bye.